Morning. I'm here with Mr. Haroon in the house. Okay, let's get right into it. So, this interview is based off the Sparks View. No, I keep
Spark
calling it
School.
Sparks View, Sparks School being established on our campus. And the first question is, what was the purpose of building a primary school on a varsity premises?
Our campus capacity is 2,500 based on the two buildings, and we only had 1,000 students. So it wasn't financially viable for us to be carrying space that we were not utilizing. And Spark Schools was looking for a space, and the first floor of building 2 was only occupied by offices. And I felt it made sense for us to generate some revenue off another company because I wasn't making enough of our students.
Oh, okay, that's a. And when did this idea come into play? When was it
No, I've
introduced?
been toying with the idea for a long time, and then obviously with Edubos having purchased our business and us looking at cost efficiencies, that was one of the proposals I made to the business, and the business, obviously the senior leaders felt it made absolute sense for us. We were saving almost 300,000 rand a month on rental just by giving off that floor. So, I mean, if you understand business, then you'll understand 300,000 rand a month for 10 months is 3 million. So that's what I'm saving in operational costs just for that decision.
Do you think this will have an effect on the varsity students, in a sense, because some are threatening or like, can I say, are like
Concern.
planning on leaving because
Yeah.
they are concerned about.
So yeah, I think if the students really asked, we would have told them, and that was the message that has been given to. Nothing has changed in the life of the students. In terms of the students, they only went on the first floor because that's where the lecture theatres were. Nothing's changed. They never went to the second floor unless they went to go see a lecture. Now all the lecturers are in building 1 or on the ground floor. So nothing's changed in their life except maybe they're going to lose some parking space. But in terms of lecture venues, nothing's changed. It's exactly the same. Am I right?
Yeah.
You're a student, eh?
Yes,
You
I
go
am.
to building 2. Have you
Yeah.
ever needed to go up to the first floor for anything? For classes?
No, no classes. None of
Exactly.
my classes were located
All your
there.
classes are on the ground floor.
True.
So nothing's changed in your life. Apart from the fact that we've put a primary school in that space, you'll see we put up a fence now to try and separate the primary school students from coming to the high school. But we're still going to go into the building. The reception will be manned by Spark Schools, which is presently unmanned.
Okay.
Am I right? If you go into building 2, there's nobody at reception because the main reception is in building 1. So I agreed with Spark Schools, they could use the reception to direct any traffic up the steps. The primary school kids are being fenced away. They're going to have their own play section right in the back of the. There's an astroturf being created for them. So there's no chance of them mixing with our students unless our students go looking for them.
Do you see the school being prevalent in the coming year or so?
Yeah, look, they're anticipating to have about 200 students max for the next year. But I mean, with the startup of any new business or any new school, it will be dependent on how many people really want to come in there. And I think they're being optimistic when they're asking for 200, but that's their plan.
And then final
So,
question.
and remember,
Oh,
it
yes.
is grade R
2, 3.
to grade 3. And in many of our staff on our campus have children that fall in that age group. So for many of our staff, this is actually a benefit as well, where their students or their children will be right on campus. And they don't have to travel too far. The school is right here. It's a private school, and their children will get a better quality education. More importantly, I'm trying to negotiate discounts for our staff. So there's a benefit to our staff and any of the students who come here and have young brothers or sisters in that grade. I mean, it's a one-stop shop now, isn't it?
Makes sense. And then what are the long-term effects, do you believe?
Well, the long-term effects is that one, our numbers grow substantially, and then suddenly we're concerned about space. But the business has indicated that should we ever get to that particular point, they'll try and get us new premises. Now, that deep down, that was my issue. I wanted a premises with grounds, with space, with so
Because that
if that
matters.
is that matters to you guys, because just having a parking space is not all that matters. So obviously, in my mind, uh, I figured if we force the business into giving us bigger space, then why not? But that will be dependent on our numbers next year. So we're really anticipating some growth, and as soon as that happens, then we aim for away. Looking for a new premises, looking for a new space, but obviously in the area. So we're not trying to go too far or into another town or whatever. Bedford View is our area, and that's what we're looking at. But this was a business decision because it just makes financial sense.
Yeah,
You know, with half the students not wanting to come to campus, half the students already wanting to stay at home, you know all the issues. And the fact is, nothing has changed in the life of the children because the classes, the venues, the graphic design is all still on that floor, and all the other campuses is still, all the rest of the campus is in this building. So the only thing that's changed
It's just the
is
top
the
floor.
first floor. So I don't understand what the students were concerned about because that was occupied by lecturers.
Because of the barrier that's being built, we felt as though we're only going to strictly be located in Building A.
Ground floor is still our floor.
And that
all
was
of our
the-
lecture venues are there. Your student advisors are still sitting in that building. Your graphic design, your Savannahs, your Marnas, your employability center, they're all still there. That's the ground floor. We've lost nothing apart from you guys seeing a barrier coming in and a few parking spaces. So nothing's changed in your life. All you need to do is walk through the bay where you could have walked across my grass. Now you're going to walk around the fence and enter through that boom gate that they're putting up. But access to the building, nothing's changed. You guys have access. It's the same thing. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the first floor of that building doesn't have Eduvos staff.
I now have a new way of seeing it
because everybody was panicking and worried.
I
and that's why I
was
say,
among them.
now you got the answers. And I'm saying, please share it with your friends. There's nothing for them to be concerned about. Nothing's changed in their life. The only thing that will be a little inconvenient is if you notice where they put the fence, so all the parking that goes towards building 2 in the front is what we won't have. Are you with me? But even the parking on the underside of building 1, there's one whole big block that they're allowing us to park in their building. So it's not like and we've always timetable. Parking has always been an issue. It's not a new problem on our campus. So we always timetable to try and get less students, or we try to maneuver the timetable so that we have a balance of number of students on campus at any one point. So that parking is at better. That's it.
Hypothetically speaking, if something were to happen like to one of these kids, because many people are concerned about like minors being with adults on the same.
So like I said,
if
firstly,
something was
let's be
happening,
clear that the minors will be kept in a separate section with their own play area that's demarcated. And the thing is, this is where you as students need to understand it. It's the minors that will come talking to you. Yes? That's normal. It's you that the adult need to behave differently. So you need to tell your friends. So they're concerned. If they're raising it as a concern that, what's going to happen? I'm like, well, then what type of students do we have on our campus? If that's what they're concerned about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to be the responsible ones. The children will always be young, naive. We need to be smarter. We need to be better. We need to know. And we're keeping them separate.
Okay, what if it's something that's from a distance, like they just see varsity students smoking and stuff and all of that? Because like thing with children, they mimic a lot, so they can get influenced to do that. So in that sense,
Spark
it's not
Schools chose to come and rent from me. So their children seeing you guys, knowing that this was a university, is something that Spark Schools needs to manage. Yes?
Yeah.
Because you guys know what you're supposed to be doing and not doing. So if you're setting a bad example, then it's stuff that you should not be doing on my campus anyway. And if the children see you, then that's Spark School's responsibility to make sure that they manage their children.
Okay.
We need to make sure that we just follow the rules on our side. Children, you think that the children are only going to see it at a teenager smoking because they came to university? They don't see it every day. You guys walk in the malls with cigarettes. You'll stand outside the malls. You'll stand outside movies. You'll stand on corners. These children see this every day. Why would it be any different here on my campus? And why would it now suddenly be an issue on my campus when this is what children are exposed to every day? Unless I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely right.
So this is a financial decision to ensure that we become profitable quicker, because our student numbers are not growing as much as it should to the capacity that we carry.
Is Bedford View campus the one that's the most affected, like
No,
with student
all
numbers
campuses.
not growing?
So no, all campuses, Edubos in general. But I'm
Oh.
saying, so the rental space decisions were taken around Midrand, Pretoria, Vanderbilt, and Bedford, because all of us have high rentals and we're not utilizing our campus to the capacity that we have. So it made sense for us to give away some of the floor space and get revenue from somebody else that would use that. So now I only had lecturers occupying there. I was paying a rent of, let's say, 2 million rand. Now I'm paying 1.7 million rand and I'm getting 300,000 from Spark Schools. So my rental is managed.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, the
Okay.
plan is
Thank
whenever,
you for this.
don't forget,
Yeah.
as much as this is a tertiary institution, this is a business. We have shareholders that we need to look after. We need to make sure that the shareholders generate some revenue from the business. And no shareholder will buy into a business that's not going to be profitable. I think you guys as business students
Yeah.
understand that more than anything. Shareholder value is important. And this was a clever way of us doing that without impacting anything on our campus.
I commend you for that and thank you.